How long have you been living here in this house?
I've been living in this house for since July or August, somewhere when Andrew built the home.
Okay. And how do you know Andrew?
I know him through Pedals to the Possibility.
Tell me about that.
It's a bike ride where we do our bike ride every single day at Brady Faith Center, and he was our leader. He was our friend, and by him bringing it up to the table, his standards were like, I do for you and you do for us. So by him suggesting to have a tiny homes, we encouraged him to build it just for the homeless people, and reassure that they have a home and a steady environment to live at.
Okay. He told me earlier that before living here you were homeless as well.
Yes, I was.
How long was that the case for you?
I was actually homeless for a while. I started living at the Oxford Inn a few times before that, and that's where I saw him. He was working, doing one of his other jobs, and I just kept bringing him up to the mix about how I just kept getting out of the streets, and I was homeless, having no place to go, and he was building the home up, actually taking his time and taking some effort to, do it wisely as he thought.
So what would you say is the best part about living in a tiny home?
The best time of being in a tiny home is actually keeping it clean, keeping it positive, taking care of your responsibilities, reassure that you can maintain the home somehow and live like you're supposed to live, actually. This is more in the build of success, and the way I got told by, takes a lot of responsibility, is always make sure your area is clean at all times. You know what I'm saying? So whether I do my yard, the front, the back, I take care of my gardens. I got a veggie garden in the back of this tiny home. Actually, I've been watering it every single morning because I've been having Andrew put it down in there for the young kids that actually helped out and did that to help them put it down in there. They did an excellent job because they only got my radishes up. That's what's the only thing that's booming up out of there. Everything else from I think I have radishes, squash, and spinaches. Spinaches are actually back there as well, but they grind up a little bit every now and then. But,
So where do you work?
I absolutely don't. I've been volunteering my time at Brady Faith Center. Actually, I help a guy called Trevor Williams. He does TMCs. So I does his Thursday TMCs, and then I do from that to my normal bike ride, which is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's currently bumping, but at each time that it bumps, it actually gives us a time from 8 in the morning to about 9. Some of us have coffee and donuts during the ride. We have meals, and then after that, then everybody goes home.
What's the what would you say is the biggest way your life has changed ever since you started living here?
The biggest thing in my life, ever since it has changed, it gave me a great opportunity. The Lord has blessed me in so many ways. It let me know that I'm not in the street no more, actually. And the way that He also blessed me was to say, just make sure you take care of your own home, because, many opportunities is always there to come. It's major responsibility, whether it goes from mowing your lawn to keeping it clean. Actually, I always make sure that towels and everything in this house is actually, especially when there's help. Andrew may need help when certain things are done here, whether it has to do with a wall. Sometimes he can help repair things, fix things. He's not one of them slumlords you think. He's a great guy, actually. And I don't think he's a slum is what I think. So if critics was to think that that's what they think of my Andrew Lanetta, they actually wrong about that. But the guy actually does a lot of wonders. He'll come and replace a certain things that you need modified, and if it has to do with pertain heat, sauce, water, he pays for all of that. So it all pertains to him and how much major responsibility we have when we pay our rent. I don't get much in my hot water, actually. He already understands about this apartment alone. Is that when I turn the faucet on, it gets kind of low. But I guess you work with whatever you work with. And my work is absolutely just, as long as I can do what I need to do to maintain my goal and status, I think there should be absolutely no problem.
So you by chance happen to meet him, right? And yeah, because I got the impression from speaking to him too that he's a guy who he seems like exactly what you said. He doesn't come off as somebody who's in charge of you. You know what I mean? Like, he seems like somebody who's very personable and very, he relates. He gets it, right? So you feel that same way?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. No, I think that's really cool. That's something you don't really see a lot. And
yeah, we get that a lot, and he's like I said, he was my leader. He's ahead of me most cause. Sometimes it's not like we pick sides. He knows where it comes from, because sometimes Andrew Lanetta reassured that Dolphus has the best quality that I can have as a teammate, a roomie, and he don't just treat me like a best friend. He treat me like family. The guy can do as much numbers as one to many things, and he has done a great numbers of it. Sometimes when I actually saw Andrew in times that I actually got on the positive pages was more like, if I need something, he was there for me. He would take me out to like movies. That's something you don't see on a personal basis. He will do like different things where it comes to program usage. Andrew will volunteer on it. We do Bob Darty run. Sometimes Bob Darty is a guy. We do our city run. So our city run is like site in the city, and then it goes from the other numbers things. But he does a great numbers, and he tries to keep it on the positive pages. But the best things for him is to make sure that all his teammates got what they want, and that we're happy with.
So, you've been on the street,
Yes.
and you know what it's like. Do you think that the city of Syracuse can use more places like this? Do you think is this something that can help a lot of people potentially? Because Andrew told me today that they're in the process of they're going to build, I think, 7 more on the south side of town.
Yes. Well, if he does do that, it's more on the positive page, because it's more like he wants to elevate to make sure the homeless got what they need, got what they deserve, and make sure that they're not roaming the streets as well as everybody else. There's a lot of people sleeping on creek walks, bridges. There was times that I actually was personally sleeping on creek walks. And I'm going to tell you, my night before I even got this home, that was my night of the creek walk, because I didn't elevate the time of knowing what to do, and my mind just kept wondering, like, dang, where am I going to start before this house got built? Where am I going to be in 10 days or 20 days after that? I don't want to be dead and somewhere underneath a gutter somewhere, you know what I'm saying? So Andrew was like, he was precise and persistent on saying, Dolphus, yeah, I got your back. I absolutely would get this up for you. He volunteers his services every now and then when he can possibly change his goals and his teammates, his friends. He would do it even for loved ones if possible, but that's the man of the quality dream, where it pertains to Brady Faith Center. His job was being of a member. You know what I'm saying? He's our now way overstaffed, so he's more into the general stage, and I think he deserves it most times in whatever higher stage he goes through, and the way he's doing his life. that's more respectful on my part because I respected 50 grand. The way I do here is he makes sure Dolphus live, and my rent is always paid and due when it's able to be paid and due on time.
Right. Right. All right, last one for you. So a lot of people, not just people who are homeless, are choosing to live in tiny homes because of a lot of things, of the lifestyle, of it's cheaper. They don't want to, people who want to downsize. A lot of people are doing this. So I guess to rephrase something we already said, what do you think is the biggest advantage of living in a place like this? And then maybe the biggest disadvantage? What's the thing that gives you the biggest problem, or is there one?
Well, my advantage is more like I come home more likely if there's certain things that I have to do, clean my house, which is a random basic thing. I do that on a random basis. If there's certain things that I wouldn't do, actually would pertain to like just not trying to one day not clean my house. I don't take effort to it sometimes, and other times it could get dusty. It could get really more disadvantaged when it wants to. And most course it goes from when my toilet gets messed up and it start running, and then certain things it doesn't run. Other things than a sink or something casual. This house has bought me some great deals, and it has supported me throughout the whole thing. I find absolutely nothing wrong. If there was anything other than a door, I always ask Andrew to come by, fix my door. He would do that at most costs. That's what Landlords and Friends does, and he would take the initiative time to accommodate me in anything that I have a personal problem with. If there is anything that I need help with, I always call him up and say, Andrew, this is what I got a problem with, and he's always there to help. He comes right away with his little tiny home truck. If there's other thing, then a mow lawn. Sometimes he lawns my mow sometimes, and sometimes anything else from anything that has to do with my shed. He bought us 2 bins, which we take our trash out every day. That's actually stored in the shed back there. And this tiny home just actually took its place because it's more like relevant for just a small amount. If it was just for me and this guy alone, we actually been paying our tithes and our rent and heading advances because he trusts us. He knows where our minds will go. He knows our expertise is more available, and it's just what it is. If there's anything else that he doesn't pertain to, is making sure we don't keep drama in our yard, or we're smoking on a random basis, or we try to have much alcohol, much partyisms. If people have to have party, they got to keep it at a low rate, quoting to our neighbors, because you want to respect your neighbors in a certain way. You want to keep the community as a residential area, not a party type, gangster type, GQ'd around in the ghetto area. You know what I'm saying? Even though the area could change as much as everything, you will benefit a lot from the community. And the way we got programmed through all of this is a community thing. So sometimes if I need him, he's obligated to come jump right away and call me up, Dolphus, I need help, like I'm doing up at the other tiny homes that you probably saw on South Ave. They actually been doing a splendid job. Sometimes I would help them out if they needed help. I would pick up a little trash every now and then, but that's just me. And I help Andrew out in any way I can. That's volunteer service. We're ace and man, and it's what we do. We still stay as a team, a group. We're joined by Pedals to the Possibility, so most of this is through them, and it's what it is.